January 6th Judge Beryl Howell receives a judicial complaint from Representative Elise Stefanik. Seen here, she's very unhappy with something that happened recently. Miss Beryl, the judge, she was attending the WWCDA, the Women White Collar Defense Association. I almost said white women. That would have been a problem, even though there are white women there. Now, Women White Collar Defense Association. The Honorable Beryl Howell, U.S. District Court Judge for the District of Columbia. And we paid a lot of attention to this judge because she was the former chief judge for Washington, D.C., the D.C. Circuit Court, and they are responsible for the January 6th prosecutions and a lot of the different interpretations of the cases being brought against the J6ers. And so we've been following her for quite some time. She was the chief judge up until 2023. She no longer is the chief judge. She was there at this event with Lisa Monaco. We talk a lot about her as the person who's probably really pulling the strings there in the Biden DOJ. She's the deputy AG, and she was there also receiving an award, right? Very excited to both get to the honorees, the Champion Award. Both of these two ladies got it. Now, what's interesting about this is the judge has some pretty unhappy opinions with Donald Trump. And so she spoke about this in this press briefing, in this award ceremony. We're going to listen to what she says here. Other people were there. You can see Lisa Monaco, very curious, the deputy AG taking a picture with this guy. You remember him? Oh, yeah. Rod Rosenstein, former Trump deputy attorney general, showed up there as well, right? So Trump people are also hanging out. And if you're a former deputy AG, right, you're pals for life, man. You're like bros for life, even if, you don't identify as a bro. The point is, as I always talk about, is these are institutionalist type of people, okay? They are DOJ first rather than anything else. And so if anybody's going to come in to challenge them, right, they're always going to circle up to protect the institution. So this is the event that they were at. You can see there were a bunch of other people there, couple photographs. Well, this is Rod Rosenstein, just as a reminder. Trump nominated him there, right? Now, I don't know what he's doing there or whatever. We're going to listen to the people in the room, okay, who were also there, people like Loretta Lynch and others, the Obama AG, okay? Not a lot of right-sided people are in the room. This is the actual landing page for the gala. You see here, Champions in White Collar Law. It says, thank you for joining another spectacular celebration. See the photo gallery. Lisa Monaco was there. Patricia Holmes was there. We had some other attendees. Look at this one, Loretta Lynch. Oh, isn't that nice? Loretta Lynch was there, and she was honored as the recipient of another Champion Award, right? So Loretta Lynch is there. Judge Beryl Howell is there. We've got the Lisa Monaco is there. She served under Obama and Clinton. So it's kind of like a little cocktail party for people who hate Trump, right? And they do some other good stuff, no doubt about it, but they just happen to have that one thing in common. And I don't know anything about these any other people, but some nice headlines there from some people who are kind of involved in a lot of the things we talk about. They're all hanging out in Washington. We make fun of these people going to these events. And by the way, I like social events and hanging around and mingling around and talking about the latest affairs, right? I go to the group events and I attend these different seminars and these retreats and all that. I think it's good. It's good to hang out, but it's also interesting to see what they're doing. And this is what they're doing. So Rod Rosenstein was there, and there is more. We're going to hear from the judge herself because she spoke, and Ms. Stefanik is unhappy about what she said, rightfully so. And this is the letter that we'll attend to first. This is what Representative Stefanik posted on the X platform. She says, guess what, America? Coming from her personal account, not from her representative account. Okay, so she makes a distinction here. She's filing this as an independent citizen. She says, I filed a complaint of judicial misconduct against Judge Beryl Howell because election interference by judges destroys public confidence in the federal judiciary, tears apart the fabric of our republic, and is illegal. It must end now. D.C. Obama Judge Beryl Howell, gave a highly inappropriate speech that we'll listen to, in which she insinuated that the election of President Trump will lead to fascism in America. And she's still on the bench. She also inappropriately allowed a public display of her cozy personal relationship with her partisan friends who actually appear before her, like Lisa Monaco, which we'll see the photos, including the Biden Deputy Attorney General, Lisa, who supervises the January 6 criminal prosecutions, which are taking place in Judge Beryl Howell's courtroom. Isn't that nice? And so let's go to the document. Elise Stefanik, writing as a private citizen from her P.O. box in New York, sends this judicial complaint to the Judicial Council for the District of Columbia. She says, all right, guess what? I have a complaint of judicial misconduct against Judge Beryl Howell, who's on the bench in D.C. and who presides over January 6 cases and who is attending a women's gala talking trash. Says, Dear Chief Judge Shri Srinivasan. He, I believe, is the chief judge, the United States Court of Appeals. He is at the office of the circuit executive. He is judicial counsel and apparently a judge. Says, "Dear Chief Judge, I write today," this is Representative Elise Stefanik speaking, "to express my serious concerns about and request an ethics investigation of Judge Beryl Howell. Why? For her highly inappropriate political speech that she gave last month, which she suggested that re-electing President Trump will lead to fascism in America." Now, as outlined below, Judge Howell's partisan speech that she just gave is obviously highly inappropriate election interference by a federal judge, and that undermines the public's trust in our courts. Now, the public display of the cozy relationship between this judge and her other partisan friends who were in the room, who appear before her literally in her courtroom, undermines public trust in judicial independence, which we have thrown out the window a long time ago, especially in DC. Says that also violates judicial canons. And if you want to know what that says, Canon 2B, here is the link for you. It says that Judge Beryl Howell, a judge, should neither lend the prestige of a judicial office to advance the private interests of the judge or others, nor convey or permit others to convey the impression that they are in a special position to influence the judge. Comes from a guide to judicial policy. And you can look that up at uscourts.gov/the link. Don't go and, as a judge, speak on issues that are outside your judicial role, that advance the private interests of the judge or even others. And don't allow others to come in and use your robe as an endorsement of their beliefs. Says, but Judge Howell apparently didn't get the memo. Maybe she's friends with Areola Engeron, who also doesn't really care about the rules. Says Judge Howell, after becoming the chief judge in the district court back in 2016, and before stepping down in March 2023, okay, so she was there for a long time, she supervised the DC grand jury and other legal proceedings against Donald Trump. She was the judge who started the whole thing, right? The grand jury proceedings, supervised it all as the chief judge. Now, prosecuted Trump, his top aides, and his supporters on January 6th. Now, Judge Howell also supervised the discredited Mueller probe that also substantially interfered with Trump's presidency back then. And along with then Chief Judge Howell, her supervision of Jack Smith's investigation that now has resulted in 2 unprecedented and highly controversial indictments of a former president of the United States and the leading presidential candidate for 2024. That's a nice list. Isn't that a nice resume for a federal judge in DC? Man, she's been on a warpath for a long time. Mueller, yeah, it's good. I'll help you with that one. That's good. Jack Smith, yeah, working on that one too. No problem at all. All the J6 proceedings, sure, go get them all. 3 for 3, man. She just rubber stamps everything. Has enough of it, then steps back once the work has been done. Now she's no longer the chief presiding judge. Got it. They tell us that on November 27th, Judge Howell and current Biden Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, who we've talked a lot about here as the person who's probably really pulling the strings at the DOJ because Merrick Garland doesn't have a lot of, fortitude to do much other than go out there and give speeches, says that the Biden Justice Department official, this is Lisa, ultimately supervises federal prosecutors in their J6 cases. She is the deputy AG. She's the henchman for the Biden administration. Together received the Champion Award along with the judge. Would these two get a room? Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Lisa. Same to you, Judge. Ah, great. Now, they were at the Women's White Collar Defense Association Gala, and I watched some of it. It's pretty, it's about what you'd expect. I'm not going to play those parts. We'll just watch the judge. But former Obama Attorney General was also there. Guess who was in the room? Loretta Lynch, Obama's number 2. Former Obama Attorney General Loretta Lynch, when it wasn't Eric Holder. The Master of Ceremonies and former Obama White House counsel Kathy Rumler was also there. Also introduced both Judge Howell and Monaco. Now, what's interesting about this is she did not include Rod Rosenstein. I don't know if she knows that he was there or not. Yeah, but he was also there. Okay, so a bunch of people who you may have questions about were there. So Lynch lauded Rumler's work on Obamacare and DACA, some of the most important policy issues of our time. Loretta Lynch, Obama's person. Rumler discussed how Judge Howell, Lynch, and former Mueller probe of Trump and Chief Deputy Andrew Weissman served together as federal prosecutors. Okay, I think Weissman was also in the room, as we're about to hear. Rumler then discussed how Judge Howell, a former Democrat chief counsel to then Senate Judiciary Committee Leahy, became President Obama's very first pick to serve the very influential D.C. court. Rumler was speaking there. So Lynch lauded Rumler, and then Rumler came out and discussed Howell, Lynch, and Mueller. Now, they have a quote. They say Rumler then discussed how she appeared before Judge Howell. I think this is other background information, so this is not from the event. Yeah, it is actually. This is all from the event. So I did not watch the full thing, but apparently this is the background from the event. Says this woman came out, Rumler, and says, but I can tell you from my experience that it was extremely rare for any member of the Senate to call the president directly on any judicial nominee. But Leahy called Obama about Beryl Howell, talking about her, and he told President Obama how strongly he felt that she was the perfect person to be a federal judge. Leahy nudges Obama, and boy, was he right about that. Whew. What an incredible mark Judge Howell has made on the bench. I agree, totally. I mean, that was like, I listed 3 things, like, dang, she's been a wrecking ball for American justice. Said that she presided over, she's also made us all so very proud. Obama, very proud. Nice job, Judge. So then Rumler discussed how she appeared before Judge Howell when she presided over many quite sensitive grand jury proceedings. Rumler said she's a huge admirer of Judge Howell. I'm very fortunate to call her my friend. All from the event at those time codes. Now we're going to listen. We're going to just skip. I mean, it was a long event. Good Lord. It can only take so much of it. But we're going to just fast forward to Judge Howell speaking. Now, emphasizing that they have been very close friends for a long time, more than 20 years, Rumler then helped introduce Monaco. Says, you know, she's quite a powerful person. No doubt about that. She holds a very powerful position called the Deputy AG of the United States. And by the way, this is like, you know, this is like a home run for a bunch of liberal DC lawyers in Washington, DC, right? The, you know, women's white collar. Like, these are big people to come speak anywhere, okay? Now, if you're there speaking at your gala, your event, are you kidding me? You get a DC circuit judge and you get the Deputy AG and the former AG? Holy moly. Like, that's crazy. That's a nice lineup, man. You're like, dang, how did I get in this room? There's some powerhouses here. And that's all. And the judge, right? And this is a lot. So Rumler then called Monaco her best friend and shared details about their friendship. We love together. We go jogging. No, we don't go jogging. We do yoga. No, we don't do yoga together. No, we don't hike together. We love to text each other and working on the first jury trial together, serving together on the Enron probe. Guess who led that one? Weissman, who's also in the room. They served together as top Obama DOJ officials, and they were also in the Obama White House. Oh, they did take a ski trip. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I believe it if I see it. Says Lynch then praised and presented both Judge Howell and Monaco with their, quote, champion awards, right? Lynch specifically mentioned the, quote, the perfect storm and the trifecta of issues that Judge Howell handled masterfully. Said that the COVID pandemic closed the world, the January 6th insurrection, and the resulting caseload, which is like a joke, okay? It's like a joke caseload. It's like 1,000 cases that they haven't been able to figure out in several years, right? And the flurry of activity spurred by the Office of the Special Counsel all got in front of her at the same time, and she wrecked all of them. Lynch waited for applause. Please applause. She's a hero. She saved America with the J6 caseload and helped enabled Jack Smith, and then also wrecked our trust in the institutions for the pandemic. Now, colleagues and counsel alike speak almost reverently about how she steered the courthouse through the trifecta of issues with grace and with discipline, and her trademark bone-deep commitment to bring justice to every matter before her. Now, it's particularly shocking, goes back to Lisa. I'm sorry, that's Monaco. We're talking now, this is Representative Stefanik. We were just exiting that quote, which was from Lynch introducing Howell and Monaco. So one AG, okay, so Obama's AG praised and presented Howell and Monaco. Thanks for inheriting. Lynch was Obama's person, right? So Obama actually appointed Lynch, and then they installed Howell with Patrick Leahy, and then Obama probably installed Biden, and he installed Monaco. So he's got total control of the DOJ, going after all of his political opponents in America. Well done. So Ms. Stefanik says, you know, it's particularly shocking to hear the former AG of the United States literally praise a sitting judge for her handling of the grand jury proceedings on a pending criminal charge against Trump, her opponent. Now, the pending criminal cases against his J6 supporters, and even make the legal conclusion that there was an insurrection that occurred on J6, despite the fact that even deranged, over-the-top special counsel Jack Smith never even brought those charges against a January 6th defendant, not a single one of them. So why would Loretta Lynch, an AG, say a word, insurrection, that hasn't even been mentioned in court? Never been proven in a court of law, never been charged in a court of law. Remember that stupid phrase they said back during 2020? Now, it's even more shocking that Judge Howell participated in this highly prejudicial public charade, not even disclaiming any of it. Why? The judicial rules are pretty clear, saying a judge should neither lend the prestige of the judicial office to advance the private interest of the judge, which she's obviously an anti-Trumper, and an anti-MAGA person, anti-anybody who's, I would imagine, not on her side, and others, nor convey or permit others to convey the impression that they're in a special position. Now, it's hard to imagine how any criminal defendant who is coming across Judge Howell's courtroom, how they could possibly expect a fair trial. When one of the key federal judges received a champion award, the judge got a champion award from partisan opponents while their cases are literally pending before her court. It is a show trial travesty of justice. Okay, this is obviously unethical and reprehensible. She's supposed to be a neutral judge. We're going to listen to what she says in a minute. Now, Lynch, Rumler, and Monaco, the senior DOJ official prosecuting the January 6 cases, look at these people. They even huddled together with Judge Howell, who's overseeing the January 6 cases. The senior DOJ official prosecuting the January 6 cases, and Judge Howell, they all huddled and wrapped their arms around each other on the stage. Look at these heroes of American democracy. Oh, yeah. Loretta Lynch, Judge Beryl Howell, and Lisa Monaco, saying they all stood there with applause, changed positions. The judge is like, hey, let me get over here. This is my good side. Judge Howell's like, oh gosh, I really hate my left. Do you mind if I come over here and let me just change sides? My right side's much better. This is what I use for my judicial portrait. And, the other ladies are like, oh, fine, I guess we'll just sit here. Loretta Lynch is like, I like my left side. She doesn't want to move at all. Right. So they repeated this. There's dramatic music playing. There's applause. Saving us, ladies. And then they repeated this. Monaco got her dumb award. So then Judge Howell began her prepared remarks, and she called Obama Attorney General Loretta Lynch, the judge, and acting Attorney General Sally Yates, who might be that woman, I'm not sure, called her the pantheon of our champion awardees and living heroes in the law. It's incredible. That's amazing. She then told current Biden Deputy Attorney General Monaco that it was an honor to share the stage tonight with Lisa Monaco. You're incredible. Having watched your careers over the years, I've been in awe at how you remain a model of calm and grace while carrying the enormous responsibility for the safety of so many. Not just in your current job, but in your national security role. Gag me. Thank you for all your service to the country and being an unshakable force for justice. Now, let's listen to a little bit of this. What a beautiful award, Loretta Lynch. Oh, what a scene. Get together, get closer together. Yeah, squeeze in there, ladies. Squeeze in there, Loretta. Get in there. Yeah, there you go. Looking gorgeous. Beautiful. Ladies of Liberty. Come on, cameraman, over. All right, now, just to point that out, okay, that's Lisa Monaco right there. That's Lisa Monaco. That is Judge Beryl Howell. That's Loretta Lynch, Attorney General. And they barely got the photo. He had to get the... Anyway, so he got the photo. They got it. He's like, just keep squeezing in. All right, so they are moving this. Now, here comes the judge. Now, the judge is going to have to listen to music. Ah!
Well, thank you very much, Kathy, and thank you very much, Loretta.
Turn up that mic.
I'm very humbled by your words tonight, and I'm very humbled to receive the Champion Award and to be included in this pantheon of other Champion awardees, like Loretta herself, Sally Yates, who's here, who are all living heroes in the law. It's also an honor to share the stage tonight with Lisa Monaco, who's also receiving the Champion Award
interesting.
tonight. Congratulations, Lisa.
Yeah, see you in
Having
court.
watched your career over the years,
See you in court.
I've been in awe of how you remain a model of calm and grace when carrying enormous responsibility for the safety of so many, not just in your current job,
For trespass
but in
cases.
your prior national security
Nice job.
role. Thank you for all of your service to the country and for being an unshakable force for justice.
Seals.
So this event has always felt like a little bit like a homecoming, since so many of us have crossed professional paths and friendship paths with each other in years past. And so many dear friends from the Eastern District of New York here tonight, from Loretta, Karen, Kirby Heller, Jody Avergan, Andrew Weissman. I too saved him for last.
Andrew Weissman. Remember him? He's the weird dude on MSNBC who every time something bad happens for Jack Smith, he says it's good, and everything that's good for Trump, he says is bad. And he's one of those guys who just says kind of the same thing on repeat over and over again. But they're friends, man. They've been hanging out forever. At Eastern District of New York, it's just all palling around together, right? This is what they do.
For the same reason. And Jody Avergan. I hope I haven't missed anybody. This event is a marvelous opportunity to reconnect with friends and also to meet tomorrow's leaders in the law. Looking around the room at this sold-out event, it really is a marvel to appreciate all that the WWCDA has accomplished to expand diversity and opportunities for women in the white-collar field.
This stuff is pretty important. Now, I know I get mocky with this, but that's impressive, right? They've got a sold-out room. There are a lot of very, very powerful people in that room who control a lot of press, who control a lot of media, who have a ton of money, who can rally donos, right? There is a lot of influence. That's why they got these people showing up, a judge, multiple AGs, even Rod Rosenstein's there. So it is not insignificant, right? This stuff is important. And I wonder if the Republicans have anything even remotely close to this. Doesn't certainly seem like it to me.
Whether serving as prosecutors, defense attorneys, or investigations and compliance counsel, one thing all of us lawyers share is an appreciation of the importance of facts.
Okay.
And that's what I want to spend a few moments to talk about tonight.
Yeah, their version of the facts.
Abraham Lincoln was a litigator before he was a politician, and he understood that facts matter. One story attributed to Lincoln is that when faced with a thorny issue that could have been settled fairly easily with a sophistic language twist or just a slight abuse of power,
he suspended
likened
habeas
this to
corpus?
asking, how many legs does a dog have if you call the tail a leg? And his answer was 4, because calling a tail a leg doesn't make it a leg.
Wow.
We are having a
Wow. Of all the Lincoln quotes, that's the one she got? Okay.
very surprising and downright troubling moment in this country when the very importance of facts is dismissed or ignored. That's a very risky business
What's
for
gonna
all
happen?
of us and our democracy.
What are you going to do? Imprison everyone?
The historian Heather Cox Richardson, whose book I've been reading, explains in her new book, which is a bestseller, so many of you may have already read it,
No,
Democracy Awakening.
Democracy
that
Awakening.
burying facts with false history telling is one of the keys to the rise of authoritarianism. As she bluntly puts it, big lies are springboards for authoritarians. She cautions in her book's opening line, it's the very first line.
What is it?
America is at a crossroads,
How come?
teetering on the brink of authoritarianism.
Why?
And she echoes this thought in her closing line, that we are at a time of testing, and how it comes out resting, as it always has, is in our own hands. In between those 2 points, in the first line and the last, her book focuses on historical facts to set the record straight.
Facts from this author.
About recreated and imagined conspiratorial retellings of our country's history,
We're almost done.
recent and long ago. My DC judicial colleagues and I regularly see the impact of big lies
Whoa.
at the sentencing of hundreds of individuals who have been convicted for offense conduct on January 6, 2021.
There it is.
When they
They're
disrupt-
in your courtroom, Judge. You're calling them liars before you've even heard their cases? They're still pending cases. So you've seen the consequences of big lies in cases that are not even before you, and you're just bundling them all up. It sounds like you've kind of prejudged some of this there, Judge.
The certification of the 2020 presidential election at the U.S. Capitol. As district court judges, we are all about the facts.
No.
And enforcing the procedural and evidentiary rules to make sure authentic, reliable, and tested facts are brought forward to resolve a case with serious consequences for noncompliance and for not telling the truth.
Yeah, and they imprison people who were not even there on January 6th. Did they talk about that fact? How about the fact that the Proud Boys defense attorneys identified from the defense in the Proud Boys trial alone 50 undercover government informants or related CHSs who were there on January 6th from their own expert witnesses? And why wasn't any of that had admitted in trial, Judge, out of a DC Circuit Court. Huh, that's curious. Now, that was another court judge, but it's the DC Circuit. So if you're so interested in facts, how come all of the evidence from Homeland Security investigations was not allowed in any of the January 6th trials, or the ones that we've covered here at least? They just said, oh, not part of our investigation. You can only talk about the FBI. All the DC judges who supposedly care about the facts left that out. And we could go on and on here, but these people delude themselves, okay? They just come out here. How many times has she said facts? If you were drinking at home when she said that word, you're dead right now, because they just say it over and over and over again, like what they're doing with Joe Biden now. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. There's tons of evidence. Hunter has evidence himself. He said, I'm sitting here next to daddy. So we've got all sorts of evidence that we'd love to talk about. In fact, there's evidence that's missing and we still don't hear about it. Almost done. Here she is.
That is what a fair process is all about and what generally makes for a just outcome. To be sure, stories can be told with different facts emphasized or highlighted or contextualized. That is entirely proper advocacy, and good lawyers are adept at using facts to tell a client's story.
Not when you don't let the evidence in, Judge.
Still, the facts matter. The courts are often looked to as democracy's guardian, but the foundation for that guardianship, to the extent it works, is fair fact-finding, with past events recounted based on accurate facts. So as we get to the end of this wonderful evening, let us take a moment.
Finally, gosh.
Just to appreciate how lucky we all are to work in a profession where facts are crucial to what we do for a living.
Oh, you see how amazing these judges are and these lawyers are in Washington, D.C.? Facts are important to them. You know, other people in America who have other jobs, it's just all made up garbage, okay? Dummies. Like electricians and plumbers, you know, and drivers and people out there who are doing other things in America, people who are parenting their children, people who are working in volunteer organizations. They're all just kind of deluded maniacs living in this almost high state, like they're on acid, visualizing the world, like that Jill Biden video almost. And the lawyers in DC, they can get to the bottom of it thanks to the judge and Attorney General Lisa Monaco. So that's what's going on there, my friends. Now, you know, this is on YouTube and it's getting some views over here. And that's the judge. Okay, that's what it looks like in Washington, D.C. So Representative Elise Stefanik is sending the complaint over to the Judicial Committee, looks like for the Court of Appeals, and we'll see what happens here, if they care at all. If there's any recourse for a judge commenting on active cases that are in front of her involving issues that are actively pending. It's Washington, D.C., so don't hold your breath, but we'll be here, my friends, continuing to cover. Thank you for subscribing to our channel, my friends. Thank you for going over to robertgovea.com to grab some new gear, grab a new hat. It's a great way to support the show. Learn more about the Watcher symbol. You can check it out at robertgovea.com/shop. Click the hat, read more about what went into the symbol, including the sword, the shield, the scales of justice, and more. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you back here on the next one.